I tell you. Oh, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure the great machine is going here. Oh, good morning.
Can you hear it?
Oh, yes, Pedro, we can hear it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of DYOR Live. We've got Pedro brushing his teeth in the background.
Oh,
Pedro,
yeah.
What's going on?
Not much, man. We talked about it here, how the market was going to go down. Oh, and right now, just to prove a point, they're brushing the market, pushing it down. Oh, you're probably wondering why I was brushing my teeth. I wasn't. I just wanted to sound like I was. Anyway,
Anyway, we got a good show for you today here. We're going to be talking about Technical Tuesday here. Pedro's going to be going over some charts. We want you guys to bring up charts you want to see. So if you want your charts, get up, bring your community in, bomb the comment section, bring more viewers in, and we'll gladly go over your charts. Also, markets in turmoil. Everyone's running around like,
how was that?
Yet, Bitcoin is just down a little bit here. But other things like Dimension down 80%. You know, all our favorite AI things are down, 14, 15, 20, 40%, these types of things. We'll talk about what's going on in the markets here today also. But Pedro, I got to do a little social media stuff. Why don't you tell people what to do?
Will do so. Hey, guys, thank you so much for coming in today. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Troublesome. I fixed my audio.
And I just want to let you guys know we appreciate you guys immensely. And especially when you guys hit that heart, subscribe, and share button. It does help us quite a bit. It is one of those things that allow us to be able to get this funny and informative entertainment out there, if we want to call it entertainment. So let everybody else know about crypto, what's actually happening in the heart of it, and what's actually happening. If you guys don't mind, please again hit that heart button, that like button, and share button. While you're doing it as well, make a little comment here telling us where you're from, where you would like to be, if you don't want to tell us where you're coming from. And as everybody here knows, I would love to be on the beaches of San Diego or Santorini, and not Santorini, Santorina. Because remember, that is that's
my Santorini's sister island.
yes, Santorina. And so just do us a favor, let us know. Those comments do help us out quite a bit. It is quite fun. Also, if you don't mind doing us a favor, we are on a few of those. We're on YouTube. We're also on X and streaming on Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. If you guys will do us a favor there, go around just and hit those up and say, hey, we like this guy. This guy's pretty cool. Or that guy has too big of a nose and Pedro sounds creepy. Whatever it be, I don't really care. Just make a comment and say, what up? All right. Enough of that crazy. So, Tom, how was your weekend, man?
Weekend's good. I made the transition. I transitioned. Back into an American, and so I'm back in Chicago right now. Which means if I'm back in Chicago, that means only one good thing can happen with the show here, and you know what that is, right?
That means we're gonna blow up and things are gonna get absolutely crazy bonkers.
No. It means I've got the running for the train cam. Oop,
yeah. How many trips?
So we can see who's gonna fall and the interesting things going on at the bus stop out here.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, it's been good. I had a good Father's Day. Spent the time with the kids, as they say. Got the motorcycle out, and my daughter I love to pick her up on it, and we go riding around the city. We head over to the beach and ride around the beach roads here in the city. For those of you who don't know, Chicago is an 18-mile long beach. And the northern part of it here is an area that has roads on it. You can drive around and go hang out at the as they call it, the ledge on the beach that the waves lap up against. Had a good time. Cooked breakfast sandwiches for my kids. Had a nice brunch, and of course shared a beer or two with them as well later in the day. So it was good. How about you, Pedro? What was going on your day?
I've been working on some stuff with AI and doing some stuff, writing. So I really didn't do much time like spending time. I had a few people call me up, wish me happy Father's Day. I was like, I'm not a father.
You're not a father that you know of, right?
Yes. I said, well, to all my kids out there that I may have, hopefully I was a good father. Nah, but in all reality though, it was a good weekend. We just kind of hung out, went to the beach on Monday or on Saturday, and then went out to a few hiking trails, which was pretty cool. It was really interesting to see how many dads were actually out there on the hiking trails. I was like, wow, this is actually kind of cool. All right. So
check. Troublesome. I'm checking my mic again. I turned it down.
Are we too loud?
I am apparently. I've switched the microphone.
Crazy guys.
Yeah, I switched microphones here. Danny Levesque, Megatron, best prophet out there.
There you
The team is just amazing. Mr. Quebec himself, Danny Levesque. Thanks for joining us today, you Megatroners.
Absolutely.
If you guys bomb our comments, I'm sure Pedro will be talking about your stuff later in the day and going over your chart.
Absolutely. It's interesting.
Mine's still terrible? Come on.
I think you sound great.
Well, it might be different. You might be getting a different feed than I'm sending out. All right, you talk for a minute, and I'll bring up the
all right. Well, do you
stream
want
and listen to it.
Okay, so go ahead. We can just jump out here. Let's check out Bitcoin here real quick while we're here. So Bitcoin, right now that was helium. We've already talked about this back up in here when the market was up at this peak here. We were talking about how we're in the upper levels of this range, and we expected a sell-off to come in, right? And then the next day we actually saw some sellers step in and started to push the market down. So this isn't like, it's not fear mongering or anything like that. Just as, look, we were at the upper end of this. Man, I'm getting the feedback pretty bad there, so it's okay. This upper level here was in the range. There we go. The range bound system here was really interesting to sit there and watch this play about how we were expecting it, right? There wasn't anything real trending. And I said, well, if we continue down, we want to see it close and then come back, retest and sell, right? And I remember we put in on air, we put this up here, right? This was the fair value gap. And so I said, expect this to come back and get retested. And sure enough, that's what happened. Came back, got retested that 8. And then we did this continuation down. So this isn't anything that we're like freaking us out, right? This is normal. Now, the expectation now, like I talked about here, if we get below this area, which is the lows of here, okay? We want to see this thing come down to that 57,000 area, okay? Because the yellow lines are where we're sitting, where the range is at. So this is where I'm expecting this thing to come down to. Now, the troublesome creek part is, is the idea of, I thought that was funny. Never mind. Okay. So the trouble coming is if we get below this 200 period moving average here. All right. If we do, and I start to see real volume come in below these 57,000, 59,000 area, and we start to show weakness again, then I expect this thing to come down at least to 50,000 because it will start to pick up momentum. We'll see it consolidate, and then we'll see this thing come back down even to a lower point of that 40,000, 30,000 area, potentially that we could see a sell off to. Now, will Michael Saylor not allow this? It's going to be really dependent on where he decides he's going to step in with literally hundreds of millions of dollars to hold up the market. And we've seen this now by multiple times. Now, this is all predicated if the institutions allow him to. Or are they going to sit there and take the other side of his buying, which will neutralize his effect, which happens in traditional markets when they have large buyers, large institutions versus large traders, okay? But what happened is that all that is just fodder to them. They'll say, oh, great, we got more buyers. Okay, let's feed these with sellers. Boom, 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 and then neutralizes it. And so this has happened in previous times in traditional markets. Let's see if it happens here in crypto. So it's gonna be really interesting. I'm pretty sure that Michael Saylor will probably be a buyer in that 60,000, 57, 55,000 area, because I know that's his cost base. So we'll see what happens there. But outside of that, Bitcoin is doing what Bitcoin does.
Check, checking my mic.
Check, mic check. Yep, there he is, Mr. You sound good. Are you still there, bud? Hello, Mr. Thomas Herlihy. Well, okay, so we'll just go on to the next one.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to monitor on the LinkedIn feed, and the LinkedIn feed keeps dropping. I go over to the YouTube drop.
I hate it. So
troublesome sounds like I have a dual routing issue, like I'm saying it twice or something. Very possible. Very possible.
I hate it when I get a dual routing issue. You know.
I'll have it figured out in a minute here. You know what, Pedro? I wasn't. Unfortunately, I wasn't listening.
Okay.
It's just a crappy mic. No, I don't think it's a crappy mic. This is an expensive Sennheiser mic that I got. I just set it up here, and I was using it in Ottawa last week. I brought it to Chicago, and I don't think I have it set up right. Obviously, but so let's see if we can fix that. But anyway, Pedro,
Yes.
last week when we were talking about Bitcoin.
Yep. And the potential
where were you
sell-off.
calling it? Were you calling it the coming down in this area? You've been talking about a potential market sell-off in the first place for a long time. I'm just talking localizing in the period of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I basically said that we were going to be going down to the lower parts of that range, which is basically, and we put up that fair value gap up there, that little green line, right, that I put up, those two little green lines. We came back, hit it, and then did a sell off from it. That was up at that 70,000 mark. And so you guys asked me, how long do you think it should be? I said, within the next couple weeks to a month, we should see this sell-off kick in, right? Where we could see it come down into the market at its lower ranges here. Again, keyword is ranges. So that's basically and I've talked about this now for a while. The range is, give me 1 second here. The range is at 73,000 area down to the 59,000 area. So it's really important to pay attention to these levels here. More importantly, there's one more line in the sand right here, which is that 200-day period moving average. As well as it's sitting where that it's the monthly 8, which is sitting at that 56,000. And then after that, the next area on the monthly level is the 37, 38,000. And these are turning points potentially. Right now, we're sitting on the weekly 20. Okay, and we've seen it hold now here a couple times. You can see right down these lower levels we came down. This was back in January of 2024. Right, you tried to sell off, came back down, pushed up, or excuse me, January of 2024. And then now we're starting to see consolidate up here where we came. It tried to test the 20 period moving average. Now this test right here is going to be important, because if we pierce through this 20 period 64, and it's this it's the 64 area here. This is where I'm talking about. Is it? Let me see. Let me make sure that you guys can see it.
All right, check 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3 for troublesome.
Yeah.
Check 1 2 3.
All right, I think you sound good.
Sounded fine on the feed.
Yeah, I was gonna say you sound great on the feed. I don't understand why, like. Yeah, talk to me.
Check. Oh, I see what Troubles was talking about. He's a sound connoisseur, and yeah, I've got it over processed or something like that here too much. I don't have phantom power, but you're right. I'm getting a little grovelly.
Got it.
I'll figure out. I'll turn this one down. Check. Yeah, now the light's not going yellow. Yellow, red. Yeah, probably sounds like crap. And now this probably sounds good. Should be better now, Troublesome.
So it all comes down to what's going to happen here. This week is a really pivotal week. Are we going to come sell off? Are we going to hold right here? We talked about this last week, that this is a potential sell-off point where it kind of holds, which is the 64,000 area, 64,200-ish area. Is this going to hold here? I don't think it's going to, and the reason why is simply because I think there are more buyers down at these lower levels. Now, I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, then we should see a abrupt sell-off down where it's going to touch. Then what we'll see is we'll see a big red candle, and then a big candle that is like a hammer, right? That's what we should see. But the problem is we've already had that here. We've seen this sell off and then boom, sell off. So this 8 period is definitely in control here. So it's all going to just depends what happens here. Now, the only good thing here is that it's Tuesday, right? I was about to say it's Monday, but it's Tuesday and we're seeing a sell off. So in the week, I typically would like to see, if it's going to move up for the week, right, that we want to see it go down in the beginning of the week and up in the end of the week. The only problem is Saturday and Sunday we went up and now we're seeing a sell-off. So how far is it going to? I think personally it's going to come down within this week or two down to that 61,000 area. Then after that,
haters are out there. We sticking knives, prison shanks in your back, Pedro.
I know, for real, man. Listen, but I'm just here to, trying to help you guys out. Yeah.
So if it comes down, what's this green line I'm pointing at right here? What level's that?
That is 60,000. That's 61,000-ish, 61,100.
And over here, let's see if I can get over there. Nope, I don't have that set up right. The green line goes across a couple of support positions there.
Yep. Pretty much.
That's why that's there.
Yeah, well, no. So the reason why this is here is this was a previous supply area stemming all the way back here of the previous highs in 2021. Okay, so this was a resistance, level that turned support. Now, so this could be a flip zone. If you're a trader, you understand what that means, right? So that's why I put this here. But again, this is all psychological trading stuff. In all reality, the only thing that's really holding this from a fundamental level is that 200 period moving average. We're already below the 100, okay, and the 50. So once it goes below or starts to hit that 200 period moving average, which is sitting at the 56,000 area, right, which is right above my psychological demand area, this is going to be important because this is at the bottom of this range here. The bottom of the range is sitting at 59,000 to 53,000 area. Again, this isn't hard numbers. These are more like areas, right? It's like your lost dog running around in the neighborhood. People are saying, oh, he's over there. And you're like, where? In that area over there. Okay, you're going to have to go searching for it. There's going to be price discovery. If we get below this low here, and I'll move this down here just so that bring a point. This is at this point where you have the 200 period moving average. If we get below this point with volume, with a lot of selling volume, I'll expect to see some major selling going down to these lower levels again. right? And we've been talking, and a lot of our viewers know we've been talking about this now ad nauseum, right? Potentially seeing a pretty big sell-off coming in, because ultimately when we look at the yearly candle, right, and I've talked about this multiple times now, you see here that there's really no real demand wick here. We're down at this previous lower levels. I still
That's the
think
yearly candle?
yeah. So
I've probably never even seen a chart like that.
yeah. So the reason why I bring this up is this is an area here that I personally think, because we had no real demand area, I could see at least a sell. I still think we might come down to the 15,000, 14,000 area.
Oh, come on.
And I know people don't want to hear that, but it's just
So you're not a buyer of Bitcoin until 15,000.
No, I'm a buyer of Bitcoin pretty much the whole entire period. But I'm also understanding that we could see a sell-off, a major sell-off, because institutions, I think, want to get in. Like, this is what they do. Like, this is literally what they do. So again,
I mean, I'm convinced this whole altcoin drop right now is like a bunch of the market makers got together in the back room and said, all right, a lot of guys are making money on this. We need to put their liquidity into our pockets, and said, all right, we need to push these markets down. And sold off their positions. Took short futures positions, which dragged the spot market down. I have no evidence of that happening. Not like I studied it all night. It was just time for it. It was just time for something like that to happen. It's like they hadn't really. I mean, everybody was bullish, and all the other YouTube channels were talking about how it's moon, nothing but moon, and that you have only a few weeks left before the end of the altcoin cycle, and you have only 12 to 16 weeks to make millions of dollars in altcoins, and then it's over, and we got to wait another 4 years for the bear markets. And I was like, well, I understand things are happening faster now because there's a lot more information out there now about crypto, and so people get coppers just went by again, but I was like, there's too much money out there right now for it all to accelerate that fast, and so something's the matter. And then you started talking about the market indicators about what's going on and stuff like that, and I was like, I don't think the altcoin market is ready to moon yet. And sure enough, the market makers Sunday night over a nice scotch, got together and said, well, there, Chad, what should I do? Brad, I think it's time for us to make some money. Let's dump this market. All right, let's dump it. And that's frankly, I think, what's going on. Because what other market indicator would cause just the alts to sell off, but not really Bitcoin?
Well, it can be a couple things. I mean, they could be cycling, right, where they need money, they want to push BTC up, so the institutions go through and they sell off everything else and they position it, or because the US dollar is moving up. Like, there's multiple reasons here. This could be outside the US, where literally, because the US dollar is moving up, everybody's talking about it on a global stance. A lot of third world countries are going out there, which invest into a lot of the altcoins. They need cash. They're afraid, and they're selling off their positions. Could be that as well. So there's multiple. It's not just one or the other, right? It could be it could be as well as institutions need money. The third world countries need cash. In addition to that, also you have market makers that are getting orders saying, hey, sell your order, I want to drop this, and they're like, okay, cool, right? So it's one of those things. I mean, but the thing is because of that, it's hitting our positions and what we want. So it's actually kind of a good thing. So, like, I don't mind it. I mean, I've talked about a Cardano sitting at 34 cents and potentially coming back down to 23 cents, right, to buy back. So these are these areas that I'm looking at going perfect. I mean, we talked about Dogecoin coming down. It literally hit our area here right now. Literally. Huh?
Which one are you looking at? Sorry, I was bringing up the 80. Oh, you're just cruising through them really fast.
Yeah. I'm just gonna cruise them. Yeah, I'll just say so. I'll just kick it. So we'll just go through this here real quick. Shiba Inu.
All right, so you give the quick thing about it, but before you switch to the next one, let me add my comment.
Okay, cool. All right, so Shiba Inu. We'll start with Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu hit our supply area here. Excuse me, our demand area here. Went through it. Came back up to higher time frame SMAs, as well as demands or supply zones, right? Weekly and monthly supply zones. Now we're having a sell-off. This was the line in the sand right here, which was sitting at the 200-period moving average. This is potentially what we could see with Bitcoin. Whereas we test it, and now it's selling through the 200-period moving average now. And then now it's going to go down to the next level, which potentially there's nothing holding this up until we get to the previous highs, right? These lower levels here. So 0.0016 potentially. The next one could be 0.00, and these, I believe this is 4 zeros. Yeah, 4011, and then potentially we could come down to 5087 again, right? Simply because to pick up buyers that are sitting here, right? So it's one of those things for Shiba that we could see happen. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I think SHIB's got other than the current market conditions, a larger problem. I think people are just done with SHIB. I've heard a lot of the people that were big SHIB believers, and with the money being pulled out of it, they've noticed that a lot of the SHIB top whales have sold out and are going on to other projects. So people are FOMOing into those other projects, and a lot of money is coming out of SHIB for just the psychological reasons of, hey, we're tired of this one. It needs to go on. SHIB doesn't have an Elon Musk or somebody like that continually talking about it like Doge, and keeping that community really real together. The community's getting tired. It's been around a long time, and that it's like the Safe Moon community. After a while, they're like, all right, well, we're not really going to do anything. Maybe we'll have small pumps, but unless something major happens, we're not going to, get that big fundamental, marketing PR boost in it. And this is one of the few charts that every time you predict a much lower level, I always go, oh, and the viewers go, oh, and they stick prison shanks in you. But this is one of the ones where I believe you. I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to go down to this level down here, which you were talking about. But the question I wanted to ask you, Pedro, was the green lines in here that we're hitting. You said it comes down and hits. I forget what you call that area, or what level was that? Pedro, you're on mute. Pedro?
This is a demand area here. So it's
a demand area, and it's busting through that. When did you make this demand area? When did you call that demand area?
This would have been in April of last year, or April of this year.
April of so 3 months ago. Pedro was saying, well, 2 months ago, depending on when. 2.5 months. We'll go round it to 2.5 months ago. Pedro was saying SHIB's going to come down to this area, and if this video was in the SHIB community, they would have just thrown their shoes at the screen and all that type of stuff. Said no way. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, it came right down where Pedro said it was going to go. So we're going to use that for social media. That's what I wanted to do with that one.
Yeah, they're going to hate on me, dude. But this is just areas for you to buy in at. Just make sure you add that too. So.
All right, what's the next one up?
Let's go ahead and go up. Boom. It's going to be AVAX. Now, we talked about AVAX, I believe, last week. And I said that I am expecting it to come down to $20, $21, and potentially $10 again. Like I said, I'm a buyer of this at 20 to 21 because in all reality, that's a good price. It's a good price for AVAX. You could buy three or four AVAX for $100 and potentially get 3 to 4x, right? Get it to 70 and potentially see it get up to 119 again, right? So I look at that and I go, and in these prices, this is still a higher low, right? That it would still hold. So it's nice. And additionally to that, yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that one's how. My thoughts on AVAX are as for the fundamentals of it is just meh. And I'm not a big AVAX fan.
Well,
And that's the emotional feeling with that one. But how much more we got to go down here? It's like another 2 days of sell-offs, and it's going to hit your first zone there.
Should, I mean, if it continues the speed, 2 days, potentially 3 days, because you would need a cool down day. You know, if it's going to kind of like
Right.
you see up here, where it kind of went cool down and then dropped, cooled down and dropped. So it's just one of those things that I look at and go, okay, if it's going to move, that's where it's typically most likely going to move at.
All right, I'm just doing a little social media about this. People wanted to prison shank. But he was right. All right, there. So that's AVAX.
Yep, AVAX. And so let's check out quickly DOT. So DOT came down into our lower areas here, but now it's coming down to that $5 mark, $4 mark. I picked up a little here, but my real goal, like I said, was that 533 to the 483 area for DOT, and potentially the 213 $1.40 ish area, which is the low of the low. I think at these prices here, for posterity's sake, I don't see DOT going away. They're extremely they're always innovating their blockchain, what they're doing. They're always growing. So I think, you know, they were one of the original people or original blockchains. But in addition to that, they're not stagnant. They're always staying up, always trying to improve their stuff. So I think this is an area. And just so you know, AVAX has a lot of gaming tokens on it. So again, I don't see AVAX going away. Simply because a lot of gaming blockchains and tokens are on this, and we all know how big the gaming market is.
We do, but for some reason the gaming market can go crazy and be worth billions and billions of dollars. Like most gaming, the top game things are worth more than the National Football League, Major League Baseball, and Premier League Soccer football combined. You know, I mean, just the value of Microsoft's gaming division is, $100 billion, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And this should play right into it quickly, and it shouldn't be just, I don't what's the AVAX market cap? I don't even know it, or whatever it is. It should be 100x more and growing like crazy because the gamer should be adopting it, and so I see it, and the reason it's not, I believe, is it's a problem of innovation, that people just aren't coming up with good ideas. They're coming up with like, oh, well, we can use my project's money that's on the AVAX chain to buy a new armored helmet for your guy, and stuff like that. And that's all good and all that, but ways to do that had already existed. It wasn't like, oh, now we can do this. Oh my gosh, those types of things were being done. People were, buying and selling things about games, some illegally or against the game's terms and conditions. Some of them that was designed as part of the game. There's a marketplace, and it was the game's own marketplace, and you just used dollars. And nobody used any cash. They just used their debit card or credit card and bought tokens on those game sites. And I don't mean crypto tokens. I just mean credits. And it worked. And then people come out and say, oh, now we're on the gaming platform and we can use crypto tokens. And you're like, but I've already been buying my stuff on a marketplace too. So it's helping, but it's not, they don't have that good innovation yet, that good product yet to really send it up. So I'm not, I'm bullish on that stuff, but I'm not like, man, it's really going to go. It needs something where we go like this. Holy mother of tap dancing Jesus Christ. That's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Gaming is going to change. And then once we do that, then you'll see, I think that's when you'll see AVAX really got going. And people made tons of money on AVAX because they got in when it started, and then as the liquidity was added to the chain, that their tokens became worth a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I don't disagree. I mean, imagine being a part of it when it went from $1.40 all the way up to 60, $56 there. I mean, and people are putting millions of dollars into this. So it was, you could be right. Excuse me. I don't mean to burp in everybody's ear. Forgive me.
But hold on. Let me distract you for a second. We got our daily, I don't know what you want to call it, post from Kick, trying to get us to pay for followers. Hey, homie, this one starts out. I checked your video. Seems like you are new in Kick and streaming a lot, and I've been streaming there for at least a good year. If you're not a bot and you're actually listening, I got to propose to you. I'll share your stream to a Kick community for you to hit 1,000 followers and earn nothing less than $1,000 per streaming, and enable your sub button. Add me on Discord. Like, I'm going to go to his Discord. I could just message him there, and he wants me to go to a Discord. Then he's going to steal my session cookies, and no, that's not going to happen. Sorry, I just had to go on a tangent about at least we got someone watching on Kick.
We've pulled other people here from Kick, so it's been nice.
You know what? I went off on AVAX and gaming, but you were talking about DOT.
Yeah, so it's all good. Well, I just mentioned just simply the gaming happening in AVAX. Jumping back to DOT, I like DOT at. Mind you, I think we talked about DOT up here coming down to these lower levels back in March and April.
Ariel, Techimino. Altcoins will jump to the moon in the next weeks. Bull run is coming. Man, this is the day we're talking about altcoins going out to the crapper and getting flushed out with everything else. And you're bullish, so good for you, Ariel.
No, he's right.
Ultimately, we're all bullish here. We all know the long-term crypto is good. Just this short cycle is, recent cycle of going in the tank just sucks. And it gives us good stuff to talk about, though. Ariel says, bullish always. And he says, hey, Tom, good to see you live today. Yes, I took a few days off. Ariel, did you switch names? Do we know you by another name? Or from Telegram is a different name? Let us know. For those of you watching on Twitter, thank you, or X. In our X Spaces, we've had 35 views over there already. Very good. Thank you very much. But let's see some comments. Let's see some comments so I know you're real and not just a toilet flipper or scroller.
Toilet scroller.
Oh, right. You're on a Weibo. Right. Yeah, I got to come back and hang out with you guys again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not invested in a Weibo, although I should be. But these guys run pretty much a 24-hour VC in their Telegram. If you want to learn about a good token, and there are interesting ways you can buy and sell it using their OTC part of their website. So you can sell it, and if there's a buyer, you can match up your orders just like an order book. And people can have things pre-programmed so that they can buy and sell and stuff and not dump the chart, things like that. Or at least it limits the chart dumping. Anyway, we were a good bunch. I think one of them is from Chile.
Chile. Just so you know, as the market is selling off, what you want to see is it really come in. So I'm going to bring this up here real quick, just on a smaller time frame. So
Still on top?
Well, I want to use this as an example. So what you want?
Yeah, no, I was just making sure I had the right graphic.
Oh yeah, dot. We're about to move on, but you can see that it's selling off, right? Boom, on a smaller time frame. I typically use an hour or two. And I want to see it really as it moves up, do something like this, but then see it come up and then start to see it put in demand wicks as it's moving up. You can see here that there's not a lot of demand wicks as we're moving up, which means it sells off and then gets bought back, sells off and gets bought back. So I know it's most likely going to keep going further, right? And so, but as it's selling off, it's not putting in a lot of seller wicks, So which means they are planning on pushing this thing back up. But as of right now, they're just shorting it to make quick cash. Or however, whatever's actually going on. Let's check out Matic now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matic. Ooh, Matic. Nice. So here
They're
we go.
killing me. Matic is killing me.
It happens, man. Like I said.
I mean, they're down since the highs of only a few weeks ago. They're down 65% or something. I mean, they're at 127. Now, what are they printing today, Pedro? What's that number?
54.
Ah.
Yeah, and lows 251. You know, but it's okay. You know, I mean, listen, this is nice. Like buying Matic at this level, 50% off, or actually even more so, 1/3 of the price from the peak of this bull run so far of last year. So I look at this going, ooh, this is cheap, man. Like this is cheap, and potentially like so. I'm definitely picking up Matic here. Nice little area here. I'm also going to be picking up if it sells through, which it's most likely going to. Let's go ahead and bring up what we were just discussing right earlier about, you know, are we putting in demand wicks as we're going up? And you can see maybe down here, but not really, right? So it's most likely. Now this is nice. You see this right here as we're coming down. You see how we're starting to put in some demand wicks, right? So it's something that I want to start seeing. We potentially could bounce off our demand area here. And so this is a larger time frame demand area. This is like a weekly and a monthly demand area. And this area just basically shows me there are buyers here, but I want to see more step in. Now, again, this area here, you can pick up 100 Matic here, right? Just with 100 or with $50 here, right? So that's
Matic's
nice.
Painful, just painful. Especially for those of us that invested in projects on Matic and you're counting on price go up and price go down.
And it happens. But here's the thing though. If the people want a dollar cost average into your position or into your project, which I would encourage them to do, right? We can sit there and see then that the market potentially could sell off even more down to this 31 cents. So they could be picking up price at a great price right now. So right now they can only be buying at, you know, at certain levels, right? But imagine them picking up 3-4 times the amount at lower levels. Then all of a sudden, right, they're happy because as you guys start to do your staking, right, and now they have more coinage. So what do? Obviously, they take about 20% of that and buy more of their coin or more of your coin, and then they live off maybe the potential other. So these are things that, you know, like we saw back in the previous bull market.
I did my little technical analysis here, Pedro. I took Matic and I just turned it around and sent it to the moon. Moon.
There you go. There we go.
Pedro's been teaching me a lot about TA, guys, and that's what he taught me to do. You just draw on the map or draw on the chart what you want it to do, moon, and it will do it.
There you go. Sure. And all in our wildest dreams. But hey,
Henry, send me the link contract address for the project you're talking about, and I'll send it to Pedro.
Yeah, we'll look it up. Let's go ahead and move through these top ones kind of quickly, so that we can now move on to more of the small cap and mid caps. But these are the ones that are going to control the market so if these keep selling off, then the small caps will, you know, obviously go in line.
They're going to follow.
Yeah. So obviously Matic is sitting at a demand area. The problem is with this one is that we didn't put higher highs. So I do expect us to sell through this area and then come down from Matic to 31 cent area, which is a good area for me. Like that is like the best area for me to come back to this area. And then from there, because you're going to see a lot of buyers at this lower level. Now there are other lower levels potentially, because this isn't
the lower level that you're talking about here, below where, you know, this one I'm pointing at. If you can see, what price is that level?
Give me 1 second. Point at that again one more. Oh, come on.
Right here.
Oh yeah. So that lower level, that lower level is sitting at 31 cent.
Oh, fuck all. It better not get there.
Well, most likely it is. In all honesty, but here's the thing though. I would encourage you to tell your clients, like, and I always bring this up. This is really important. Jeff Bezos had more contracts coming into his business when it hit. It soared all the way up to $100, and then it came down, I think, to $5 or $4, like because of some bad press. Yet he had more contracts, more deals coming in, and he was like, his business was about to go belly up, and he's like, all because of a chart, and so he was sitting there and he goes, but the next quarter when I show my predictions, I'm good. Like, he already knew he was good, right? And so that's one of those things, like, you've got contracts coming in, you're doing real business. So ultimately, when you have the next quarterly earning or your next AMA and say, look, these are the business contracts we have coming in. These are the business we're actually doing. We're a sound company. All of a sudden, everybody else goes, buy, right? So it's the same sense, right? I remember
they
when
bought it all right.
I remember when Facebook first got established, and Facebook was, I think it was 2012 is when it was launching. And the market at the time was at the peak of the previous highs. And I expected a sell-off. So a bunch of my friends hit me up and said to me, hey, Pedro, do you think we should buy Facebook? I said, no, it's going to sell off because the market's at an all-time high, about to. We should see a sell-off here. So wait for price discovery, and then from there, buy in. And so, sure enough, it sold off. I think it started at $30, sold for like 22 or 21. And a buddy of mine said, do you think it's a good price? I said, yeah, bro, I think that's a great price. I think, sold off at least 1/3 of its price, and it looks great. And sure enough, boom, we started seeing it really push hard and just explode. So it was one of those things that was really cool. It's the same idea here. Oh, the final frontier. What's up, Space Cat? It's good to see you, brother.
Welcome, Space Cat. You had a good night shift last night.
Yep. Also, guys, do us a favor, hit that like button, share button, and give me a couple more comments up there. Tell me where you guys are coming from and where you would like to be. Also, let's jump here real quick because I want to cut through these so we can get to the micro caps. So this is what I do like. I mean, there's nothing wrong with poly coming down to these lower levels. I know it's going to hurt, but just pick up more coin. You know what I'm saying? Get some cash. Boom. If you got to go get a side job, go get that side job. I think Zach Humphreys was talking about that ad on the Crypto Alliance over the weekend, right? I actually went on Crypto Alliance I think Friday. I said, hey, expect pain, guys. I think I see this market going down, and they were like, what? And I said, yeah, just being honest, giving you guys a heads up so you guys know. Be ready for it. Boom. And then sure enough, we're seeing a sell-off. So I'm expecting us to see, in all reality, Matic to come down to this lower level of 31 cent. If it does hold, you're going to see some consolidation here before we see a push up. So expect that. Let's talk about Tron, TRX. TRX is holding up fairly strong. I mean, I'm a buyer of Tron at 9 cents. But if this thing does not put in a lower low here as we're coming down, as we're seeing the market sell off, I'm going to be a buyer at 11 cents. So it all depends on what they do here. If they don't hold, then I'm definitely buying it down these lower levels. But again, this compared to all the other major coins out there, Tron is looking tough as nails. So it's really
what's going on with that? It's like the only one you've brought up so far that hasn't come into one of your demand zones.
Yep. Because they're tough as nails. Justin Sun, honestly, he does his best. He's got a great community. He engages with them immensely. You know what I'm saying? They almost feel like he's an older brother of theirs, and you don't, if you mess with your older brother, he beats you up. So, just joking. Mr. Tron, just joking. I don't need you to beat me up. I feel kind of awkward. That's weird. Like he would ever even watch our. Well, he might watch our show someday. We don't know. Shout out to Justin if one day you watch our show. But yeah, they're a tough crew. Now the biggest key is this: they've got to hold that 8-period moving average above. They just hit it, and now they're testing it. So we're going to see what happens here. But the key is they're not putting in lower lows here. They're holding strong. So it's something to be paying attention to while the market is selling off. Like I said, if they stay here while the market is at its sell-off, right, then I'm looking to buy Tron, just, from that moment on. Let's check out Litecoin. Litecoin hit the supply area. We're now starting to see it continue down. Again, I want to see Litecoin down at that $49, $40 area. These are the areas that I like Litecoin at. We hit the supply area pretty good. Now we're seeing a sell-off from it. That's in a nutshell. Let's check out Solana. Solana here is one of those ones that is tough, but it's still having a hard time fight against the major movement of this market. They are tapping that 100 period moving average right now as we speak. And let's check out the smaller time frames here. So are they putting in demand? That's a good way of looking at it. Are they putting in demand wicks? No, not really. You got one right here, but we've got an equal on the sideways market here. Let's check out here. Nope, not really. Just consolidating on the 2 hour. Let's check out that 1 hour. Yeah, I'm seeing this still continuing down to that 92.79 area here. We should see it come down into. Let's check out TON now. TON. I'm sorry. Am I going too fast? Did you want to comment on it? Just jump in.
No, if I had a comment, I would have let you know.
All right, cool. Boom. Check out TON. TON here is one of those ones I've been waiting for a sell-off. It's because I want to buy in at the lower levels. So finally glad we're seeing a good sell-off. TON has been in this, we talked about this, I think it was last week, being in this consolidation area, in this zone area. So for me, I talked about if we hit above this previous high, we should expect to see a test and hold. We did not hold this previous high, so I'm expecting it to come test. Where are my other moving averages?
This is another one in which the demand zone is way away from where the market is, which is unusual for today.
It's actually a good point. TON is one of those ones that it's just a strong 20. Okay, I'm sorry guys, give me 1 second. Here we go. Let me put this in 8. And you guys can see what I do here. I mean, this is all those magical. I had somebody say, "How do you know those numbers?" They're based off of Fibonacci and institutional numbers. Is really what they're based off of. So nothing real special about them. 50 and 89. There we go. All right, so TON is sitting here pretty good on that 20 period moving average. The problem is it did crush through it with pretty decent volume. So you can see here that even though this was coming in with good volume, which as you can see, the sell-off here is something that is really interesting. I expect to see it maybe come down to the 50 period, which is at that $6.66 area, or the 660 area. Potentially, we could see it come down to that 500 period or $5, $6 area. I am a full buyer at $3. I know that's 50%. That's over 50% of it, or it's more like 60% of its value. But potentially, if we start to see a market range sell-off, right, TON is not going to be able to hold. But again, this is still strong. So if I start to see Bitcoin really come down to that, 40,000 area, this is not going to be able to hold up underneath that pressure. It will sell off. But if we don't, again, I'm a buyer at these lower levels of $4, $5 area. So yeah, that's it. We'll see if
well, I think this the sell-off that you're having today is one of its sharper, or larger 1 day or 2 day sell-offs. Since it really caught the volume, since the volume really exploded, many months ago, and everything else loses What's the word I'm looking for? Confidence. All the other projects are losing confidence. This one's still pretty far away from the demand zone you have here.
Yeah.
And so it has a long way to fall. But that's frankly, if people start losing confidence in it, it drops a little bit more. I bet you see some whales dump it and switch to cash for a little bit. But what I wanted to ask you about this one is, why did you come up with this demand zone where it is? You trace it back to the chart where there's like its first little downturn after the volume went up. Tell me and the viewers why the demand zone is where it is.
All right. So one reason is that when we talked about this was on a monthly level, we were in a range, which was sitting right here at the peak of the lows, which is 40 or $4.05. This is the candle in control here that everything is playing with. Okay. So for that, I picked this low here. This tried to sell off. It held it, and it came back in, and it tried to push above it, but it had issues. So that's why I sat there and said, this is my high, this is my low. It needs volume either to push down or push up. If it's going to push down, where are their support coming in? One was the 8-period moving average on the monthly. On the weekly, there is a really good demand zone sitting right here. Okay. Now we also have a weekly 20, but at that time it was a little bit lower around this area. So a lot of times what happens is market makers will take people's stops. So you see right here, there's a bunch of stops sitting right here. What they'll do is they'll go through, take all these stops, right, to fill orders, push down to an area where there are a bunch of buyers sitting, like at $3. Like, I'm a buyer of Tron. So then what happens is they're able to then offload a lot of other stuff going on with Ton. So that's it in a nutshell. I saw this as all these other areas have been traded through, and the only one where there's a fresh area is down at the 386 area, 355. So that's why I picked that area there.
So this demand is in the mid $3 range, or 3 cent, whatever it is.
Yeah, there are fresh buyers at $3 area.
Everyone wants fresh buyers. They want to take their money too.
Yeah, like, hey, like, I'll sit there, I'll buy Ton at $3. Absolutely.
Sure.
Put $100 in. Thank you. Have a nice day. Right? I'm getting 50. So, I mean, at least 50 Ton. And if this thing becomes a banger, right, over the next 20 years, and let's say this goes to $70, $80, $100, you best believe they're going to be sitting there. They've got money coming in off of their business, Telegram, right? So why wouldn't they give some type of, and I know there's not such thing as dividend, but a staking reward, something of that nature where I can put money in. So it all depends. It all depends on what's going to happen.
Well, let's not forget that Telegram is running their advertising revenue through Ton as well. So as their revenue increases, yeah, you advertise on Telegram, which the larger rooms can utilize their monetization thing. They pay for ads in Ton, and they get paid in Ton. And as you probably suspect, advertisers pay in more than Ton pays out. So, the growing profits there can only, have a real world impact of bringing, outside fiat into it.
It gets stronger.
AI Wolf, the busiest man on Twitter Spaces right now. AI Wolf, what's going on, guys? I wish my truck was working. I'd come visit you. Well, I'm in downtown Chicago right now, and I think you're out in just west of the city by a little bit. I might be a good. I forget what downtown Ottawa is like. If there's anything fun there at all, I'll ride the bike out, and come see it. But if it's a dried up, washed out downtown that's got nothing going on except the old tumbleweed and the UAW hall, then I might skip it.
Oh shoot, that's awesome, man. That's cool. Well, Matt, if you can get the Ton community to come in, we'd love to have them as well.
Ton community is teaching me how to use use Telegram for that right now. What, for the advertising part?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yep.
There's pretty much not an X Spaces that I can go to now in which Wolf isn't in it. No, and participate, not just listening, but participating.
Yeah, on point. He's my man, bro. That's what I had to yell at him. I was like, bro, why you handing out all this alpha and you ain't sending alpha to me? What's up with that? He was busting my chops.
That's right. Starved Rock. That's right. That's the Starved Rock Forest Preserve here in Illinois is beautiful. And in fact, my son every year goes down and camps at it with his buddies, and they get a little tuned up, as they say.
Well, let's go ahead and jump because I really want to get to some of these meme coins here. So Ton, as you can see, I do expect to see Ton to come down to these lower levels. But again, I'm a slight buyer at $5, $5.50, $4.50-ish area, but I'm a big buyer at $3.80, $3.55. So that's why. And that's sitting at that 200 period moving average. Now let's go ahead and go to Doge. Doge hit our area here, what we've been talking about. So Doge is one of these ones that, again, Elon Musk has talked about potentially using it, potentially doing things with it, and every time he really starts to get a sell-off, he always steps in. And you even talked about this earlier, Tom. So really interesting situation between this company, Doge, and and what's actually happening. We came down to this area. It's bouncing off. I expect to see this thing bounce through this area of demand zone and potentially come down. I'm going to draw another area potentially that we could see it come down to. This is the monthly area. 1 second. Boom, monthly demand.
Bentley Bay meme is hitting it hard. That's a good shill. AI Wolf.
All right, guys. So here we go. So that 7 cent, 7727 area is one of those ones that I could sit there. I could get behind this area here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Potentially a good area here. Good right here. Let's count.
Space.
Oops, that's the wrong button.
Yeah. See, even this area, man. Like again, there was a reason why I didn't pick this area. This area here is weak. And then it could stop right here. I'm gonna put a boom dash. Means it's weak here. Boom. But we could see it hold potentially right in this area here. But ultimately it is weak. So if this thing really starts to sell off, which I expect it to, we should at least come down to that 7 area. And again, at 7 cents for Doge, I'm a buyer. I'm a big buyer at 4 cents again. If it comes back and tests the lows here.
I am just not a buyer at all in that.
You don't know where it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Buscam.
Oh,
Buscam! Oh, it's so exciting here today. I gotta sell a sponsor for the Buscam spot. That's what I gotta do. Every time the bus comes by, they put the sponsor thing up and they spiff us $1 or something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, Buscam, sponsored by nobody.
All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and check this out here real quick. We're watching ADA Cardano coming down. Like I said, in this area, if we sell through this area, I expect it to come down. Now, like I've talked about, this 34 cent area is nice. Really nice for Cardano. But I expect potentially to see us come down to that 23-cent area here. The way it's picking up steam here, and no buyers even over these green days over the weekend, you would expect at least some buyers to step in. Cardano definitely did not.
What's your demand? Your first demand zone here? What price level is that?
I'm actually going to delete this one here. It's done. So what this was, that was a line in the sand that was actually seen, and you could see it was flirting with it, going up and down over it. The next one here, again, is another line in the sand. It's not necessarily a demand zone, but it's an area of support that we could see the market turn around. It all depends on how it plays. So that area is sitting at 3404. Now my demand area is down at the 2391. So I'm a buyer at the 3401 area, but I'm a big buyer down at this 2391 personally, right? That's for me. We are setting up for the super spike. I agree with that.
Well, hold on. Which direction? could be the inverted spike.
Either way, it doesn't even matter for me. I mean, I'm a buyer at these levels. Even if it spikes down. I mean, ultimately, I could see us coming down to 15 cents and 11 cents Cardano.
Ooh, that would hurt their ecosystem big time.
Oh, it would hurt everybody. This would cause everybody to sell off. This is what the institutions and major people want. They want to get in at these lower levels. And so they will do what they need to do to get it there. So it's just something that's really interesting. I've got a person over here that sounds like there's a fire going on, so you might hear a lot of fire trucks go by. All right. So
well, that's what you get for living under the bridge there.
It happens, man.
At least the highway construction.
At least I have a van.
For the
At least
if you're in a van, you'd be down by the river. In a van, down by the river.
By the river.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Herlihy boy.
So let's go ahead. So yeah, I like it.
AI's got a question for you real quick. I forgot what method charts are that start with an M.
I forgot. Meta?
He left out a word there. A chart analysis that begins with an M.
What the method charts are. I don't know. I don't use retail charts. I actually just use this one. I use TradingView because this is, everybody understands TradingView. I use a different system, and I know what you're talking about. The one, I think it's called Meta or something like that. But I typically use Sierra charts, which is what I use. It's, they don't have a 1-800 number that you can call. You have to kind of figure it out. All it is just manual stuff, like a manual that you have to read through and learn. But it's very, very versatile for my trading and what I use it for. So, yeah, I like it. And I really use it for, my biggest thing is I use it for going back and looking at the markets and replaying stuff for back testing. That really helps me out quite a bit personally. So I forget, like I said, there's multiple chart systems out there. I use a different system than what most people do. You know what I'm saying? Hello?
Sorry about that. Had Mrs. Strikey on the other line. Just had some good news come in that she wanted to talk to me about, which was a good thing. Sorry, I wasn't listening to what you're talking about after I asked a question about Cardano and the levels and stuff like that. But Cardano, one of the things that really bugs me about Cardano is not about Cardano itself, but about just the general thing, is how many people are out on the great Twitterverse and in social media just bashing the crap out of Cardano and ADA and the whole thing. They're just every day beating it up, like, oh my God, it's so terrible. It's it's not decentralized. There's people in charge and this and that. And they whine and complain like no other group I've seen before. If they just all shut their mouths, just, Cardano naysayers, just shut your mouth and your bags will go up. But when you FUD them day after day after day, and it doesn't seem like you think, all right, it's a competing chain. It's a bunch of Solana people that are beating them up and stuff. But I've been paying attention to it for a while. It seems like it's the Cardano people themselves and people that have invested in it. All they're doing is complaining about it because all they want is Moon because Charles is involved in it. And everyone tells them, look, we're planning for the long term. We're not here to moon this thing now. We want it to be for the long term. And Charles's company, Input Output HK or whatever it is, in their new Midnight protocol and their products they're coming out with, they're hiring like crazy. They're in pre-launch mode. All this new stuff is coming out, and the people out there going, "Why isn't our token mooning like Solana?" And I'm like, well, because you didn't have 80 million pump.fun contracts launch on Cardano. You had them launch on Solana, so every kid on the planet that was degenning it was buying Solana. They were not buying Cardano. And it just drives me crazy. It's like half my internet feed or Twitter feed, X feed, whatever the hell you call it. It was Cardano. I finally had to mute some words in it, so they stopped filling it up. I was like, oh, good grief. So anyway, I think a lot of the Cardano sell-off is because so many of them FUD their own bag.
Well, that happens in crypto. That's the problem. We are our worst enemy. Agreed. Pamela
Lewis says, buy the dip in cock in you.
And by the way, thank you for your service.
I like the Cookie Monster there. I like the Cookie Monster icon. Oh, it's we got a little uniform there, a little Navy uniform or something.
Yep, looks like the Navy uniform. Here we go. Let's go ahead and finish this up here real quick, and then we'll go on to a lot of the other ones that have been shown.
I knew a Pamela Lewis from Fremont, Ohio, where I went to high school.
Watch that be here. That'd be dope. All right,
it kind of looks like her too. Pamela, you went to Fremont Ross High School at the same time I did. Well, you haven't. I can see that you have not aged at all since high school.
So here we go. So XRP still doing what it's doing. It's playing in between this demand area.
XRP sucks.
All right. Well, but it is.
Did I say that out loud?
But again, and I'm going to change it because you guys have seen me change this now multiple times to demand, to supply, to demand. So we're going to use this as a kind of line in the sand in a sense. You can see that we're playing in between.
Ladies and gentlemen, Buscam sponsored by AI Wolf. I don't know why. Sorry, I interrupt you on these things with this stupid humor.
It's okay.
I don't know why it humors me so much.
It's all right. It's okay. So here we go. We're selling off here. I'm expecting to see this come down to that 32 cents area, but I do, just simply because ultimately people want it lower. I think there are buyers sitting here, so I think this could be that last ditch chance to sell it off down to these lower levels. Let's check out BNB. BNB is down at our level here we talked about. We started playing off of this. It's now selling through this area, and it's below the 100-day period moving average. So I'm expecting to see BNB come back down potentially to that 505 area, but I don't think it's going to hold just because it's been traded through now a couple times. I expect to see this at 414 to a 350 area here, and or sitting at the 200-day period moving average, which is that 4053 area. 75 is the area that I'm considering buying at, but I am definitely a major buyer at 414, 450 for BNB.
BNB. I don't think it's going to happen, Pedro. I think I don't mean because your lines aren't good or anything like that. I think it's because I think you're the one that picked out. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago that Binance was selling off some of their Bitcoin, of which they have a gazillion billion dollars worth.
Yeah.
And they can easily trade $1 billion in Bitcoin to buy their own token and pump it. Not necessarily to pump it like to the moon, but just to keep it at a higher level. Yeah, to hold it, show that it's got some growth level in it, and establish a floor. I mean, if they do that, everyone will know. So, I mean, it's not like it's going to be a trick or anything like that. But that shows confidence. It's like when a company buys its own stock. You know, it says, all right, we're buying our own token because we have confidence in the future, and we're trading Bitcoin for it. So, and I bet you that's what they did when they sold off some of their Bitcoin. They probably bought their own right in this big pump up over here is when they did it, I bet. Establish a new floor. They set a nice flag here and saying it's going to happen. And then they'll probably pick a point to execute another plan for this flag to, you know, go into effect and go up, regardless of what the market's doing. Just to show people that, hey, Binance is back, you know, and we have confidence in our company. And I do too, frankly. Binance is that the regulatory woes are still basically in countries that still, you know, have like major corruption issues, like with Nigeria and stuff, and like, all the Nigerian guys are wanting money and stuff like that, and Turkey too and stuff. And so their executives mysteriously go to jail. That's what happens when you don't pay bribes in those countries. You go to jail. Same in China, you disappear. But in the rest of the world, they're getting licensed in the UAE, which is very strict licensing rules with VARA. They're proceeding along the lines of being completely legal in all of the EU, and so that's a big deal. And in other countries of the world, they're still having trouble in the U.S. because even though the case is all settled, there's still an institutional bias against. Oh well, Binance, they're evil. Blah 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 blah.
I already said it way back in the day. By CZ's move, how he took out their money bag, aka SBF. There's no way that he was going to get out of this thing without going to jail. There's no way. Like, America's mean. He's lucky that he just got that short of a period in time. Like, in all honesty, I thought he was going to go. Like, I knew he was going to see jail time. They were going to find something because, you know, like, it's funny is we were talking about this, how Biden, and I think we talked about this earlier, Biden is now taking crypto, but Biden has been taking crypto. Biden was taking crypto by SBF through his parents' organization, and they knew. So, like, how does that work? You know, BNB was basically, or CZ was put in jail because of his actions with SBF, and they messed with one of their good old boy sons, and that's it.
Can't mess with that money train. But speaking of money, AI Wolf says the Money Man presale is ending at the end of the month. The question is, why is the Money Man presale going on for like 6 years? That's what I want to know. A long presale. There's a private sale, and then there's been different rounds of presales, I guess. I don't know if there was one price level for a presale or if there's been a number of them, but it's been a long one. It's been a long one, and I forgot to get in on the private sale. I forgot. Simply because I forgot.
It happens.
But BNB, I like it. I think Binance is still gonna, with the reserves they have, they can survive and flourish. And I think they're looking to get above that $1,000 level for just to have that mindset of we reached, you know, we 1000x this thing.
Probably.
You know, to be honest, I don't know where BNB started, what the opening day price was.
We just check out a good old.
It probably is not on these charts.
No, I can actually pull it up through CoinMarketCap. I was actually going to transpose. Is it not on here? BNB. There we are.
Oof. Ooh, I've been standing this whole show. Oh,
good job. Good. Dude, impressive.
Well, then I can walk around the studio and stuff like that and point at things like the weatherman.
The weatherman. And...
Oops.
Here we are. I think this was 2018. They were at They launched at $1.05, and the low was 50 cents. Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
What was their launch? I'm sorry, I missed that. I was looking at
Their launch was on November 17th.
2023.
Yeah.
2020. 20 or 21?
This is 17. This is November 6th,
Oh,
2017.
Right, BNB itself, not the smart chain token or coin launched much later.
Their coin launched at November 17th. Went down to 50 cents.
Welcome, Shane Stores. Welcome, Shane, to the house. Thanks for joining us. He too got confused by AI's name. I thought your name was Airwolf. 80s nostalgia. Airwolf. I loved that show. I watched it every time it came out. I couldn't wait for what was his name? John Michael Vincent. In the old guy. I loved that helicopter. It was always had all the latest missiles and stealth mode and all that type of stuff, and yet he just kept it in a cave. Never needed any maintenance.
Dude,
they always had access to
missiles. On that
missiles.
stuff.
Yes, the 80s TV shows, nobody got killed. Remember the A-Team? A-Team, they have massive gunfight, cars crashing, planes crashing, and everyone gets up holding their head. Oh.
And that was it. Yeah.
I loved it. No one ever died.
I pity the fool.
God. I love it when a plan comes together. George Peppard. Oh, I loved that show.
All right, so that's it in a nutshell. Ethereum, real quick, we're sitting at these lower levels. I expect to see us come back down to that 31.12 area. Again, that's where that 200 period moving average. It could dip below to tap that, which is that 3,2998 area. So, and if we start to see this really sell off from this level, because if it goes below that 200 period, the next level is sitting at 24.22. So the line in the sand is really this 3,100 to 29 area. If you go below that with volume, it's a done deal. It's going down to 24.22. So for Ethereum, so we'll see. We'll find it real interesting. See what happens here. I'm finally glad it's actually going to. All these things are selling off, which is what I've been waiting for. Legit, dude. Like,
all you guys losing money. Tough shit. Pedro's been waiting for this moment.
Look, dude. Listen. If y'all been listening to me, I've been telling you, like, okay, you can buy now, but pretty positive we're going to see a sell-off.
And you were right.
All right, so let's jump back here now. Let's check out some of my faves here. ICP, boom, or let's check out Crow. Crow is coming down to the area that I've been expecting, which is that 7 cent, 8 cent area. So good for that. And they're following strong that 8 period moving average. The only thing that could, where is it at? Position it without seeing me see it come down is really the the 89 and 100 period moving average, but they're not really a danger of holding it, but we'll see what happens. But even here, at that 8 cent area here, it's still not bad, right? Comparative to when it was sitting at 18 cents. So it's already killed 50% of the market cap here. Also, let's check out HNT. HNT is coming down to the area that I talked about. For me, I've been
HNT?
waiting. Yeah, HNT is helium.
Oh, right.
I like
I haven't heard much spoken about that or seen much about that on the media channels lately.
Yeah, they haven't really talked about it much.
Ooh, they're blowing through some levels there.
Yeah, so this was my line in the sand. And then this was the area here where I would expect to see it come down into. I did pick up a little, but I would love to see it come down into that $1.51 area. But still, we're in the same area that I like, which is sitting at that $3.250. And to bring up, this their all-time high is literally, I believe, $50 of the previous bull market. And then, they ran through some issues in their community, basically kind of got all
they
jacked
ran
up.
through they ran through some issues. That's a good way of saying it got all fucked up.
Yeah, there you go.
Pardon my French.
Yes. So we're seeing active demand step in here right now. The key is, and we've talked about this, is we want to go to the smaller time frames. Are we seeing demand at wicks? Boom. No, not really. Yeah, it all depends on how it's going to play here. But this area here hit perfect. So you guys
All right,
can
I gotta make a phone call, Pedro. I'm gonna leave it to you for 5 minutes here.
Okay, cool. So you guys can see here that this is pretty nice. And let me go ahead and grab the let me grab this here for myself. Boom. Okay, and make sure that I'm all up to live. Alrighty, so you guys can see here that this area here of the $3, this is a nice area for HNT. I do like that. Only bummer is when I spread the word, it keeps me out of the live feed. What's up, word? Oh, that's funny. I don't know why, man. It's frustrating that we've actually complained against YouTube because we want people to just chill, but it's not. Just put the contract address, should be okay. You should be able to do that. I don't know why it's not allowing it. Boom. So HNT is looking nice. ICP is selling through the area. This was the line in the sand that I talked about. Boom. From there, I'm expecting to see ICP come back down to that $5 area here. So for me, that looks like a great area to buy crypto for ICP. Its peak was 20, and this area here is just looking nice. Caspa, again, coming down to the areas. We saw a high here. Where's it at? Caspa. USDT. Here we are. This was when I was like, that's not. So this was the area that we talked about for a while. I'd expect to see it come through. This was the consolidation period that we were playing in. Let me go ahead and play this. Boom, to that. To that. Okay. So this area here sitting at 13 cents to 09 cents. I'd expect us to come through here and to find support at this level here. So again, that's where we're seeing the 200 period moving average as well as 100 and everything consolidating. So Caspa, we could see a good little area right here to buy in. If it does not hold, which potentially it could not hold, that 7 cent area, 7.7 to the 7.1 area here is another area that I would look to be purchasing this at. So again, this area here is nice. I do like this area for Caspa. Here we go. I don't know why this and that are two different ones. USDT. CAS. USDT. Boom. I'm gonna move this up here. I am hot. There we are. Boom. Okay. What is it? Oh, KuCoin. Oh shoot! Look at that. It hit our area. Came down, hit our area, came back up. This area should get blown through that 7976 area here for KuCoin. We should see this blow through here. And the next area, if it continues to sell off, is that 61 to 59 area for KuCoin. I actually saw Lunic in the news over the weekend, which was really interesting because they had a little pump here. But again, we're still playing in this area that we drew out. We'll see what happens if Lunic, and again, this is like the old, it's still being bought. The community is still there. So it's potentially, it's good moon, right? And you can pick up some Lunic here, like I would be a buyer at these lower levels here personally, because honestly, you don't know really what's going to happen. Pedro, will you please look at Uniswap? Yeah, I'm on it. But that's actually one of the ones I wanted to look at as well. So Uniswap hit our supply area that we brought up. Again, this was the previous high, became support, or was supply. We kept it up. We're seeing a sell-off here for Uni. I do like that lower area here at the $8 mark, right? That $8 mark, but potentially, let me go to higher time frames here. Ooh, yeah, it's bouncing off of that 8 period moving average, as we're seeing right here, man. So it could hold. If it does not hold, that next level we're seeing potentially is at, and again, these are more areas, right? So it's important. I've kind of, I've taught you guys how to go through and see if that area is going to hold here. Boom. Uni 1 month. All right, so I love this area here, that 60 or that $6, 650, 590. I like that area. But even right here at these lower levels here of $8 for Uni, it's a good price because we're bouncing off that 8 period moving average. So I would, dollar cost average at this lower level here. Potentially, yeah, it's probably going to keep selling off down to these lower levels. Down at this, like, where was the monthly? 870, 870. So 870-ish area right here is where that monthly's 8 period. 870 right here. That's this lower level here. So let me see. Pop, nothing. Yeah, there's really nothing sitting here until we get down to these lower levels of like that 7 from like buyer standing. Like from a buyer standpoint, I don't really see a lot of buyers except for the dynamic zone of the monthly 8, which is sitting at that $8, 8 area, which is right. Where is it at? Again, sitting at that $8.60 area. Let me check out. Yeah, so on the daily 860 area. So you've got some moving averages here, which are like a dynamic moving average, right? As it moves, then demand comes in based off of institutional buying, for algorithmic buying. But again, I would, from a daily, these aren't engaged. Nothing's really engaged until we come down to these lower levels of Uniswap at that 65, 69 area, at least for me, myself. Boom. Let's check out. Now, let's check out Pepe here real quick. Pepe. Actually, I had Pepe right here. Pepe. Here we go. You're welcome. All right, Pepe. Let's check out Pepe here. Pepe, I see a nice little buy area right here. Let's do that. This is a weekly. Come on, where are you at? Alrighty. So this area right here for Pepe, this 723 area to the 529, nice little area of pullback down. That's on the weekly, and that's a monthly. We also got a monthly 8 period moving average at this lower level here. So I do like that. Let's check out the daily here. Okay. Yeah. You got that 200 period moving average. So you got a 200 as well as the weekly 20, as well as for Pepe sitting at that 5.9 zero area. How many zeros is that? Give me 1 second. 2, 4, 5. So 5057 to 5059-ish area is a nice little area for me for a pullback for a Pepe. If you're a Pepe holder, you can pick up some more there. Let's check out. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, Tom, you there? I can hear you.
I'm here.
Yeah, so you can see here for well, I forget what it's called, Sandbox. For Sandbox, I did pick up Sandbox on the original sell-off.
Sandbox.
Right,
I've never even heard of Sandbox.
it's one of the larger metaverses out there. So I picked up Sandbox.
Oh, yes, I have heard of Sandbox. Yes,
It's okay. So you can see we came down, sold off. This acted as resistance. So and then it sold off from the resistance. So we would have looked at it. I would have done this, but I will say that this no longer exists. So I'm going to delete this. But I do expect us to come down from Sandbox area down into the 27 to 21-ish area. I like this area, or excuse me, 27. What is that? 24 to 21.
They certainly reacted to the altcoin market. Oof.
Yep. Theta, remember we were talking about this back when it was down these lower levels here last year. It exploded. Now it's coming back retracing. And Theta, I'm looking for Theta potential. Boom, right here.
What price do you think you're going to call it coming down to?
Right here. 1 second.
Like 90 cents?
Yeah.
Yeesh.
No, man, it's...
You're the Pedro the Grim Reaper, ladies and gentlemen.
Or the opportunity to buy.
Well, that's why we do this. 'Cause when it goes down, I just put it right up in the window up here. Theta, 90 cents.
Yeah, I like that area here at 90 cents from $1.30 dropping. I mean, just in the last 2 days, man, good Lord, they just got decimated from $1.90 down potentially. I mean, $1.90. Dude, I mean, on Friday, they were sitting at 220. So they're getting demolished here. They're going to shake out a lot of weak hands here. So this area of coming down to that 90-cent area is going to be a pretty big buy area. That 90-cent and potentially 63 to 49-cent area coming back down to these lower levels. I could see people saying, that's really cheap. So, yeah, I like that. I like these areas here. And if it sells through that, which people are like, no, but if so, the next area is down at the 18-cent area. So for Theta. And it would be more about right. Actually, let me do this here real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, while Pedro's doing that, for those of you watching on Twitter, new viewers, thank you very much for joining us. Pedro and I do a somewhat daily talk show called DYOR Live here on Twitter or on X Spaces, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Kick, whoever else will have us. And we try to have a good conversation. It's an interactive show. We like to bring up topics that the audience wants to talk about. So drop some comments. Leave some comments on X if you're watching. If you're on LinkedIn, one of the very few people today watching on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn comments aren't working at all today, and I don't even think I can see it if someone posts, unless I go to LinkedIn myself, but then my computer will explode if I do that. But anyway, so drop some comments here. Make our sponsors happy. Our sponsor right below me, worldofrewards.finance. If you're a small token and need more holders, go over to worldofrewards.finance. Go ask the team in their Telegram how you can get involved and how you can get more holders on your small and new token. Of course.
Go ahead.
And of course, tell them that Tom and Pedro sent you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So these are some of the areas that I'm looking at with Brett. Brett. That's with 2 T's. Brett USD T. Here we go.
Brett on base.
Brett on base. Here we go. They might change this up. Go figure, right?
Now the Brett world is calling this thing to be $10 billion market cap. Right now it's at well, after today it's probably back under $1 billion, I bet, right?
I don't know why is that not working. That's weird. Oh, that's why I forgot. There you go. Boom. Monthly, weekly. What'd you say, bud? I'm sorry.
What their market cap is. I don't know why there's no market cap on Dex Tools. Let's go to coin market cap.
Real quick, I like Brett down at 07, 078, 0707-ish area. This is a nice little area. You have the weekly 8 sitting in that area, and then additionally to that, you also got a few demand areas with that 50 period moving average sitting right there. Anthony, good look at Gary. Network. All
Disclosure
right,
Crypto. Anthony.
Absolutely.
Anthony? Who's Anthony? We got Pedro and Tom here.
Oh, that's funny. That's
Fun show.
really good.
But stay at this show. Oh yeah, I do remember we keep looking at Gary Network for
Yeah.
closure. But right now we're looking at Brett, and Brett is at a $1.2 billion market cap.
Absolutely.
Been a nice friend, so I called Anthony. Disclosure, what is your native
clever.
language? what is your first language?
There we are. ROP.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, Disclosure. Really appreciate it. While Pedro's figuring out Brett here, I've got the DeFi Dojo Lounge banner up below me here. If you're a small project, first of all, if you're not in the DeFi Dojo Lounge, go find them on Telegram. A great lounge, very active chat. Great. They hold all sorts of lessons, never mind AMAs in it, and you can learn a lot from JBee in it. Enrion. I can't say his name.
Arian.
Arian. Right.
Not Arian. Yeah, not
Arian with an E.
Yeah. Area.
And also, if you're a small project that wants a good rate for a whole bunch of AMAs on Telegram, X Spaces, and on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, and all that type of stuff, go see JBee. Comments down below here. And if you're on Twitter, there's nothing in the body because there is no body. But find the DeFi Dojo Lounge. They can give you a package price, which includes a discounted KYC from Assured DeFi. So if you want that to get exposure to a good group of people looking for the newest thing, this isn't a big call room like Caesars or something like that charges you an arm and a leg. These are good, affordable packages for your small tokens. Go see JBee, DeFi Dojo. And last week, I'm working on the BidFi exchange sponsorship, and we got to. I got to iron out a few more details of that, and we'll be having a kickoff event for that, including some bonus cash given out people that sign up.
Here, real quick, check out your Telegram real quick, and I'm gonna finish, and not finish, but I'm gonna just. I need to take a quick break for about 2-3 minutes. Take care of something real quick, but let me finish off Brett here, or Bonk. Excuse me. So Bonk, we came through our area up here. Had the sell off here, then we saw it push back up, right off the demand area here. Demand area did its thing, but then now we're coming down to these lower levels here that we've talked about. I like this area for Bonk sitting at that 1918 area, and then after that I like this lower area here with Bonk as well. because simply this is going to be a monthly zone, monthly demand.
I knew Crypto Mike would surface for Bonk.
Yeah, so these two areas are looking nice.
Be around.
How's Pepe? Oh, I just went over
Mike,
Pepe.
you just missed Pepe.
Yeah, you have to go back. You have to go back.
Roll back.
Yeah, scroll back and look at it. But these are the areas that I like for this for Bonk, because it's, well, it looks like a good area to buy. Oh no, bro, it's okay. Just area to pick up. I'm gonna step away for about 2 minutes, and then I will be back. I'm gonna let Tom and his great fun antics proceed.
Oh, Pedro. We all know what Pedro's doing right now. Gotta take a break after being on the air for a little bit, which means gotta take a pee. Gotta happen. Oh, we don't know what he's actually doing. Could be getting the Amazon guy could be delivering. Oh, but it's been an interesting day. We even utilized the bus cam a few times today, and have the train cam set up too, but no train has come by in a while. You can see both out this window here. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's Technical Tuesday going on. If you're a community member out there and you want us to go over your chart, bring it up. No, it wasn't Pepe on Sol. It was Pepe on ETH. And I think we just forgot to go over the Sol one. We moved on after that. Why don't I bring that up? Let's see if I can do that. Back to Pedro's screen. Bring up my screen. Let's see where we are. I don't think Henry's still watching. We're not gonna make it. But Bentley Bay meme, I forget who brought it up. Big sell-off after lunch. And then moving right up to the east side in a deluxe apartment in the sky. Let's see, Pepe on Sol. Here we go. On Sol. Ooh, that doesn't look good. Mike, is this the right one? The one that launched and then just sold off and died? Let me know, Mike, if that's the right one. I think I've got ultra low latency set today. Anyway, Technical Tuesdays, I really leave up to Pedro to really go through the charts and all that. And I don't have a lot of other things. I think so. Name has punched something. Let's go back and look at that. The one with a lot of liquidity in it, so. No, it's just Pepe. So let's get some more Pepe. There's 15,388 liquidity pools on Solana with the name Pepe. 15,000. Okay, here's Pepe coin on Sol. Pepe Black. A multicolor. Real Pepe. The real Pepe. And oh, One Punch Man. That's Saitama. That's Saitama. In fact, we bought that last week. This one, Punch Man. We bought it, and it has not. It literally went down since we bought it. Here's the 12-hour chart. We bought it right here at just over 10 cents. Or maybe right just under it. Maybe 98 cents or something like that. And it immediately went down. It's at 65 now. So we've lost 35% of our money. Pedro and I are on a roll. A bunch of the things that we bought on the show have immediately gone down. How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Hey, hope everybody's doing well.
No, I was just going over Saitama, One Punch Man.
Yes.
It's down to 65 cents, or 6 cents now, 6.5 cents. We bought it at 9.5 cents or something like that.
Yeah.
It has not traded higher since we bought it.
Yeah. Sometimes it kind of rolls that way. It's okay. I don't mind
No, but
it.
just
Yeah.
if you're just a probability guy looking at the charts here, it's impossible to pick points on the chart in which it's a fine, it'll never go higher. Or like if you're just say, I'm gonna buy it now. Pick any random thing. It's almost impossible to say you bought the all-time high or the local high and it never traded above where you bought it. Or went below it. You know, there's always a back and forth and up and as you say, it's got to go down to go up. It's got to go up to go down. And about 5 of the last 8 that you and I bought on the air, or as a result of something we talked about on the air, they have never traded higher than our print. And I'm not being the negative thing. I'm not doing that negative thing. I'm talking about peaches. I'm talking about dock horns.
Yeah, like real.
Yeah. It's not real things we bought with real money. And I'm just like, come on, man. And so you're like talking about Saitama, I'll buy it on the air. I'm like, all right, it'll go up. And I'll say, you know, I was thinking Pedro will say, let's take a 20% win on this and sell 60% of it after making 20% of our money or whatever it is, or gains. Great. And it'll be a good lesson to use on the show, blah, blah, blah. That MFR just went straight down.
But I'll put it like this, and I think it's super important to understand, right? When it comes to this, like, and us buying, it's really not about, I mean, I think for one of them, it was about like legitimately making cash, right? And I did say, like, let's wait for this thing to sell off and see if we can get in at a lower level. But all the other ones that we've bought, right, it hasn't been about that, right? It's been about more or less the community and more, you know, we're trying to connect the community.
Right.
So yes, if I was going to do like TA, besides, and I put it like this, when it comes to St. Thomas, it did give me a sign because we bounced off the 8-period moving out or the 20-period moving average, which is basically where the 8's going to be, right? Like we're in an area buyers area. So I expected to see this thing to push up, right? This was where we were looking at, when did we buy it? Last Wednesday? Forget when it was, it was Thursday.
1 Adam 12, 1 Adam 12. We need a rescue unit over here. Saitama. Going down, ladies and gentlemen. We need a rescue unit. 1 Adam 12 at the DYOR live show.
Potentially. But in the same sense, though, is we're a part of the Saitama crew now. So when we call out to the Wolf Pack, which, by the way, forgot to go on their group and let them know, hey, we're going live. We're going to go over Saitama. Saitama, not St. Thomas. Saitama.
St. Thomas?
St. Thomas. I like St. Thomas. Anyways, the reason why I'm saying this is, look, as we're selling off.
I honeymooned at St. Thomas.
What do we see?
One of them.
So what do we see as we're selling off? We see a lot of demand wicks. Look, boom, 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 demand wicks. So that means that they're real buyers. So this right here, this sell off the last few days, we're watching a lot of sellers step in, but not really holding. So we're seeing, as we're selling off, buyers are stepping in. And this is an hour chart. So that's a good sign. Now, on the back end, could people be selling against us? Yeah, potentially, could be. But the fact is that as it pushed up, it did continue to hold at our demand area here. So to me personally, I sit there and I go, until we get down below that 3 cent area, which I don't think it's going to, because the fact is that every time it starts to sell off, you see buyers stepping in. So we'll see what happens here. But you know, from a TA standpoint, that's what I'm looking at, is really our buyers stepping in when it sells off. And yes, there is defense against sellers as it's selling off. It's a good sign, right? Will it hold? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's jump back in here.
Hold on, leave that chart up for 1 second. Well, I'm going to get a screen capture of this. I'm just going to send it to you so you can drop it in the site. I think saying we were talking about him. All right. What were you moving on to?
Yes. Do you want me to do this here right now or just wait? I'll do it later. Here we go. Let's go ahead next. So we went over that, and then somebody else wanted us to go look at something.
I dropped it in your TG. Was not going to make it or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here we go.
I doubt Henriquez is still watching right now, but you never know. My BS name is that. Not going to make it.
I actually saw this guy. He was on Crypto Alliance. I do remember him. Yeah, here it is right here.
It's not going to make it.
No, it's 5 minutes. The 5 minute. They launched it.
We're calling the cops on this one too. It's not gonna make it, ladies and gentlemen. It's not gonna make it. Call code blue, stat, CBC, Chem7 stat, code blue.
But the thing is, liquidity is sitting at 1.8 million, and the market cap. Is this serious?
Yeah, it just launched.
It's crazy though, that market cap. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, they have a very low liquidity ratio. I mean, that market cap is. People are starting to find out that these launching with low ratios to pump the market cap. Because as I always talked about earlier, people went from tracking price to just tracking market cap, saying I got in at 10,000, now it's 100,000, so I 10x'd and this type of stuff. But there's very little. Or the conversation earlier today, people were talking about having a wallet worth $3 million in it, or $1 million in it. But when you went to sell it, because the liquidity pool is so thin, you only actually got 300,000 because it smashed the price so low. You know, it says it's worth this much, but when you go to sell it, it says you'll actually get this because the automatic market maker has to take into account the depreciation of the liquidity pool. And this is a good example of that. People are like, I got into $10,000 and they get their wallets full of stuff, but nobody can sell. The dev's going to make one inside sale, and for 100, it'll make $20,000 sales. Take $200,000 out of the liquidity pool, and it'll take 30% off the price, or more. Or take 50% off the price.
I have to admit, it's funny though when I look at this. It went from what is the low? 15 cents. It went all the way up to 34 cents. So he doubled. He 2x's his, and then the lows. Let's see what the lows are. Lows is 13 cents, 13.64. So that's interesting. Yeah, this guy came on and he was acting like he didn't know what he was doing, and his friend launched this in his name to get him into crypto.
Oh shit, I didn't update the why isn't that updating? Not gonna make it. Here, put it back on the hourly or whatever chart, whatever the last one you had. I need to get a screenshot of this to pull it.
All right, give me a second. There you go.
Hold on, I gotta let this thing scroll. All right, Mike, we'll go over the NSO contract here in a second. Need to get a little social media fodder here. All right, I gotta drop this in a trading room that was talking about this. In fact, it's where Henriquez lives. Market cap to liquidity ratio as bad as AUDT. All right. Let's see. Let's look at NSO is never surrender. Pedro, you've looked at that in the past.
All right.
See,
Are they on?
Hold on. I'm gonna send it to you directly here. Mike dropped the
Contract
in your TG.
Oh, we
Appears
got
to be a Solana.
All right, we got to do can do as well. I forgot.
Yeah, can do will come up too. You can do whatever order you want.
I've done this one already. Are you sure?
I think we've just looked at it. What do you got? Never surrender up?
Yeah.
Or NSO? Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not looking good.
Well, if you're gonna get in, right now it's actually time to get in. This is the only area here on the daily chart that I can sit there and say that's an area of buyers. Apart from that, it's gonna have a hard time getting through all the SMAs. Let me see it real quick. Yeah, it's gonna have a hard time, but I mean, this is an area that, like right here, you have a supply area as well.
Mike's crying. He's not crying all the way to the bank, that's for sure.
Yeah, so this is gonna be the area here that I would look at. Right here. I was fighting against those the 8 period moving average, or the 89 period moving average. Came in with good volume, that's for sure, man. I mean, it looked like it was going to get through this 89, definitely. And
But then it didn't.
Yeah, and then somebody came in with even more volume, just crushed it. They literally crushed it. And look, it came up to, this was a technical trade, because look, the seller right here is literally in a supply area.
Yeah, that to me that looks like the developers or an insider just taking the money out of the project. It launched and then they said, "All right, all the money's coming out," and then there was a little bit of a green there, give people some hope, and then they took the money out again, took more money out, and then it went along, got some good news where the volume spiked here. Someone put some money into it, and then the insiders just took the money. Said, "Thank you for the exit liquidity. Bye bye." When it's a pattern like that, it's never good. When they just sell off every green candle and there's no chance for consolidation or just going along, that means someone on the inside is just taking the money. It sucks. It sucks, but that's the way it is. Never surrender. They didn't surrender. They got beaten like the Confederate Army in the end of the Civil War. That's what happened there.
Yeah, but at the beginning of the war, they were winning though.
You think sinking 100 in is at this level? No, I do not. You'll put 100 in and someone will take 98 out. I say you do whatever you want. That's what I say. You do whatever you want. But what I would do is I would delete this one off of my radar. That's what I would do. My personal opinion is delete it off your charts and don't go back to it. And that is, of course, opinion. This is not financial advice. This is education and mostly entertainment.
Mostly entertainment. All right.
Now, guaranteed, Mike's going to do that. And then, like 2 weeks, it's going to be up 3x.
Well, it's at a buying area. I mean, like legit. Like, there's a demand right here.
It is, but that inside guy's selling. That's crypto.
Potentially.
He's selling. He's taking the monies. Took all the money out of it already. I mean, it's not like there's anything left. It's just, it's only been down except for 3 brief days or times of up.
Yeah. Well, the key is this, is if the guy's done exiting his liquidity or using the liquidity of the people, then it could potentially push up. But you do have some natural resistance level here. So you actually have the 50, which is sitting at the 0016. You have the 89 and 100 sitting between 4004 to 0035. Apart from that, it could shoot all the way back up to this level and find support on top of these moving averages as it pushes up. If it does do that, that's what you're looking for. I actually forgot one.
Mike, did you notice how I changed the wording in the box? Yeah.
Don't like straight dog. That's so wrong, bro.
And so
that's
beaten
wrong.
down like a stray dog.
Can do.
Mike, you got us up on the TV again, so you can see. You must be able to see it.
Can do. What is Kindu's right there. KENDU.
No, DU. Can do.
Yeah, DU. Yeah. Inu? Is it Inu?
Yeah. It's on base. I think it's on base.
I'm not getting the correct one.
No, it might be Ethereum.
I can do.
I can't actually tell this chart.
Liquidity 2 million, volume 2 mil. Age 3 months. Okay, here we go. Looks like it. Yeah.
Anyway, this was one that Zach was telling me to get into a month ago.
Got in a month ago, you would have been right in this level here.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons is that Austin Hilton spotted out that the developer, the deployer wallet for SHIB, had it put some money in Kendu. So they felt there was going to be a big run on that. And right thereafter, like I'm going to get the whiteboard out here and get a little crazy here. Like this, about where I'm drawing is where Zach was talking about Austin figuring that out. And then, which, and other people figured it out here for sure. And then they started talking about it online, and that's when I just did this. Whoop.
Yeah, it just exploded. But like I expect to see this thing come back down to the 4061 area to the 4052 area, simply because it's previous high. But from a demand zone area, it potentially could come back down too.
Can you move that over a little bit?
Yeah. Here we go. Potentially, what's the say?
Zach's also calling this one the $1 billion coin. It was one that he felt was one of the ones that got to be stable around 100 million and not getting sold off.
Right here. So if that was, what was it? Hit 2 billion right here?
No, it's I don't think it hit 2 billion.
Oh, okay. Well, it's sitting at 161 million. So to cut that in half would be the 8. So it would be 160. What's it? 8. This would be 80 million right here around the 8 period. So potentially it could be right here. And then after that, cut that down by 6, 8, 4, 25%. 25% of 60 mil is one point. About 50 mil is where it would be. 40 mil potentially, like in this lower area. So I could see it come back down and playing with the 40 40 million market cap area, which is sitting at that 50 period moving average. So yeah, we've already tested this right here. So this area is potentially a good pullback area to get in at with a 50 period. And if it sells off and Zach wants to get in, I would get in then typically around here down at that, was that 4, 2, 2, 4, 5. So 52764-ish area is what I'm looking at potentially. The fact is that it pierced through the 20 here, and most likely if we get to the boom, there are some decent buy areas in this area here, so it's not bad. Down at these lower levels, it looked like it was following the 4-hour. Yeah, so this area is when it really started getting traction, where every time we would see a sell-off. So potentially we could see also volume come in around that 301-ish area, potentially, which is where a lot of these buyers are at. You can see where the demand wicks are coming in. But after that, if it gets below here, there's really nothing holding it until we get to here. Yeah. So, and that was Kendu. And then the other one was going to be Ponky.
Yep. Ponky.
It's amazing when you get your body on a routine, how it literally follows that routine.
There's no doubt about that.
That's amazing.
What I call 10 a.m.
It's amazing, dude. You're like, it's like clockwork. I wonder how many things I have my body scheduled on.
All I know is that it's that the 10 a.m. thing I'm referring to.
Yes.
It's been getting earlier. Slowly, it's like 1 minute, not 1 minute a year, 10 minutes per year earlier.
What happens?
It used to be like 2:30, 3 when I was younger. And then for a long time, it was working out right at lunchtime, which was great for work where I used to work. And now it's an inconvenient 10 a.m.
So what it could be is your body does anticipation of the dopamine release that you get from it. And so what happens is
Pedro, what do you do in that room? Because there's no dopamine release for me in that room. There's just nothing but
there is. No, there is. Trust me. Just so you know, when you pass gas, what happens is our olfactory senses smell and go, oh, we need this tea. We're missing this.
He's not gonna make it. Not gonna make it, ladies and gentlemen. Call the EMS. He's not gonna make it.
This is actually kind of cool. So that's what happens with our body. And so what happens is there's a dopamine hit when you do release, and your body goes and pushes things out it doesn't need. Whether I'm just being honest, and then your body sends off a type of dopamine. It's your body self-learns from what it releases. I'm not joking.
Are you the person who thinks their farts smell good? Is that why?
No.
Ooh, that smells so good. I'm gonna spend great time in the bathroom.
No, bro. This is literally science. I don't even want to go into this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the quality entertainment here on the DYOR Media.
So this is best.
How many of you are actually still watching this? Let's see.
All right, let's go here. Okay.
Not many.
All right, so as you guys can see here, we're hitting the 8 period moving average. We're coming down on Bonky here. So my area that I would be looking to get in on is actually lower than here. This is probably where the 200 period day moving average is.
You got this behind your head again.
Right here. There we are. So this area here is one of those areas that I'm looking at as a lower level area, simply because it's just an area where buyers would be sitting. This is probably where the 200 period moving average is also sitting as well. So it's another area where institutions would be looking to purchase. if they're looking at bonking or an emotional connection that people have to this area here.
Well, it's about time Mr. San Francisco shows up. No, thanks for joining us, Jesus. Appreciate it. We're doing technical analysis of some meme coins right now. Currently talking about Ponke, something I don't know much about at all, but all I know is that I was told about it before I made that big green candle, and of course I did not buy any of it. It's Technical Tuesday there, Jesus.
Yep. Just going over all the charts from a technical analysis standpoint. Also, this area here is previous highs. As you can see right here, previous high. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is one that I remember looking at this chart. This one confounds me a little bit because it's violating my rule of someone selling it off, but it keeps going up. Like all the good pumps, someone immediately sells it off. And then it kept going. There's some kind of manipulation in this one. Wait, in crypto manipulation? I can't believe it. Manipulation going on that I can't figure out. But because it did most of the ones where you see them sell off green candles, they just go down. There's no hope. This one has gone up, and it violates the rule there. Jesus says everything down hard. Good time to buy. Well, if you'd watched our show from the beginning, you would say maybe not today, maybe tomorrow or the next day. But a lot of the things that Pedro went over had hit their demand curves, demand lines, I should say, if I get this right. And a lot of them still had a ways to go. Pedro, either you're not talking or you're on mute. And so there could still be some blood in the water here. Sounds like Pepe on Sol. We just went over Pepe on Sol. To me, that didn't look like a good chart at all. Didn't look like a good chart. There, Pedro? Hello, Pedro.
I'm sitting there talking to myself, thinking, "Yeah, I hear you, man.
Yeah,
I got you." and then I'm like, "Dude, it's the chair that I have with my headset, and every time I look, because I've got basically 5 screens, kind of like how you have, that I trade with or whatever, right? And like I'm sitting there, and I'm like, holy crap, it hit my freaking." Anyways, it doesn't matter. So let's check out Pepe again. I'll show you. So Pepe on here, I'm expecting to see Pepe come down to the I think it's 503 or 50723 area ish as a good area to be purchasing it. And then we should see then some selling pressure come back, and when it bounces off of that at the 1209 or 1292 area, probably going to be an area where sellers will step in and see a sell-off here. So anyways, so there's that. I'm trying to think what else that I wanted to go over as well. HNT cake. See how cake is doing. A cake could come down to our area here again, the 193 area to the 179 area. And then after that, the next part is literally at the lows of the 102 area, because there's nothing there after that. Yes, that would be it. Crow, I said I expect to see it come down to the 079 to the 0710 area as we continue down in this bear or this push down. Gala, that's another one here. Weekly supply came in. That's weird that supply area here. So this was the line in the sand, came in. Now we're seeing the sell-off now. So I'm expecting to see this come down to, for Gala, 019-ish area to the 017-ish area. So, and then H-bar. H-bar came down to our area here. So you have a zone within a zone here, which is nice. It's finding some support here. Right here, you can see that we have a 6.9 to 6.7, and it's in between another area, which is sitting at this '07 to the '06 area. So again, potentially you can have two moves off of this movement here. And then after that, we're going all the way down to '05 to '03 '06 if this does not hold. So it'll be real interesting. Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to think. Does anybody else have any ones that you want us to look at? Do you want us to do the what do you call watch list? Let's see the DYOR watch list. Caspa, we already went over. NetZ. Ooh, NetZ is actually pumping, dude.
Oh, it's about time.
That's good. That's funny. I mean, not super big, but I mean, on a red day, it's actually green. So it's, I mean, look, it was good volume, decent volume the last few days. I mean, look at yesterday, dude. Yesterday, good volume. And then on Thursday, dude, that is nuts. Look at this. Look at this day. This day had barely any movement. And look, dude, this is sleeping.
I got the train can. Oh, I just switched over to the train cam. Ladies and gentlemen, sponsored by AI Wolf. Train cam. But what I had, we're going to go back to NetZ in a minute here. I was just screwing with something here. We're talking about the dedication in your job here. What I've got here is the live stream setup here from my phone. You're talking about your screens. This is the primary broadcast screen here that I'm looking at. It's where I monitor Twitter and the other feeds and that type of stuff.
Yep.
Main camera there. Comment section on the vertical monitor. Whole tech stack of crap over here. You can see here's me with the green screen behind me and the time code and all that stuff. Bunch of other buttons and switchers and mics and stuff. Camera. In case I want to come up with my own stuff there, I got a keyboard in the background. Then all sorts of crap here. Lights, speakers, the ceiling, truss, more lights, more lights, more lights, and stuff. And then if you need to, I've got a 1,000-pound hoist down here and some other things. And there's other hoists up there. That's how I used to hang my motorcycle in the winter, but I got tired of doing that. But so when you say, Tom, you got any technical problems? This is why.
Yeah. I can see.
This is why. Let's see the delay here. No, not that bad.
Maybe a second. Hey.
Just a little behind the scenes.
That is pretty cool. So I'm wondering also what's happening with NetZ behind the scenes. Like,
all right, that's good. They let's see. Let me look at what's going on with NetZ. What is their let's look at them on CoinMarketCap here. What chart do you have them up on?
This
Tether?
is Tether, yeah, USD.
Let's see. Do I have the right? No, I still have NetZ. A NetZ. They get very good. They went from basically 0.07 of a cent, 0.007 of a cent to 0.009 of a cent, or of a dollar. Hopefully they'll be back up to 1 cent. They were up to 14 cents when we first started paying attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
My little guy Pep Z, who's on our a lot of our thumbnails because I give him a little airtime. You can see him there, the Pep Z guy with the Z chain and multicolor Pepe glasses. Where those came from, the 3D glasses, I don't know, but that means Pepsi should be pumping too. Let's see. Let's look at that. Oh yeah, I can show you my little what I did there. I drew.
Well, good job.
I drew lines. Actually, the funny thing is though, is that I drew the lines before the breakout. Because I was looking at it, I was like,
a little wedge.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can actually show you where I drew them. I actually had drawn it like this, and I was like, oh, there's going to be a breakout coming here, and sure enough, as soon as it hit the wall, it popped right out, and there was a breakout. But I'm guessing it's not so much from the buying here, but from the NetZ underlying coin. Interestingly enough about this project, NetZ now has, Pepe Z, the Pepe based on the main NetZ chain, which I'm going to just be transparent and say I'm invested in since the day one. They're not paying me to say anything. I just personally invested in it. They have launched also on Base and I think Solana now. There's one other one. I think they had launched on ETH, but the fees were too much, so they stopped doing that one. As a bridged token, meaning when you buy it on Base, it buys it out of the same supply on main NetZ. And so it's not two different tokens. It's the same supply. So no matter where you buy it, you're buying it out of the same supply and ultimately out of the same liquidity pool, which is really cool. So you, in essence, what you do is you buy it on Base, and behind the scenes, a bridged token goes across or comes across from main NetZ and pulls it out of the pool. So a bridge token goes into on one side, comes across the Base as they mint another bridge token. Probably will get hacked. I shouldn't talk about it. But and then you can buy in multiple chains, but all comes from the same liquidity pool, same token pool of tokens. So you don't end up like a lot of these projects do when they say, oh, we're going to launch on ETH. And then they launch on ETH and the price goes differently. And then ultimately it tanks because it didn't really help either. Didn't help any of the other ones. And so, but this one, it's like, so when the degens on Base start buying it, it'll just pull it right out of the supply and add in and out of the liquidity pool on main NetZ. Frankly, it's genius. I really think it's a good idea for a new chain to get the eyeballs on it when they don't really have a proper bridge yet. Because a proper bridge, you got to be ready for a big inflow of money or of not money of users. So it's got to have a big liquidity pool for it, and you do that two ways. You either provide the money yourself or you pay somebody to provide the money and guarantee that they will get a profit out of it, not a loss, which means you have to have money in the first place. So it's very hard. So but get a way to get new eyeballs on it. It seems to be popping out a little bit here, which is really nice for the old bags.
So real nice. I do got to get going, just so you know.
I do too. We've been on the air 2.5 hours here.
Yes, sir. So, guys, thank you.
Longer than that, yeah.
Almost 3 hours here. It's a pleasure as always. Technical Tuesday is always a good long day. It's where we actually have to do real work. So I will let you guys go, but we will see you for meme. No, what's going on Wednesday? Yeah,
I don't think we don't have a proper theme yet for Wednesday.
Gotcha. Well, let me let you go here. I know we got a lot of stuff going on, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. And
all right, Tom, Pedro, I'll see you later. I'm going to wrap up here as
excellent.
Going to get a couple other things into the algorithm. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Pedro, have a nice day.
You too, guys. Later. Bye.
All right. I also need to get running here. So I'm going to, as they say, start the music. Start the music. No, that was really bad, wasn't it? Why am I not hearing that? There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good day. We had a long show today. The goal of today was to talk about the turmoil in the market, which there was a lot of, obviously, and talk about a couple of the tokens that a couple of influencers have been pushing, namely our friend Zach Humphreys. I shouldn't use the word pushing. I should say talking about as them doing very well, and a lot of them have done very well in this market today. They've pulled back a lot but these meme coins have staying power. These top meme coins have staying power. They're all up over $100 million, on their way to $1 billion. Some around $1 billion, on their way to $2 billion. So while the regular altcoins are just getting smashed, I mean, just handed it to you. Just come on. The meme coins are holding their own, which is a good thing. The fat lady gonna sing? Fat lady's gonna sing. I don't have the comments up. Hey, Seuss. Don't I have the comments up? Fat lady gonna sing. Hey, Seuss, what kind of card did you sell over the weekend? It's Father's Day. Some dad had to come by with the kids and pick up a nice, a nice new Supra. Something like that. Maybe a McLaren. Or maybe a 2003 Civic. Mustang GT, all right. Mrs. Striking's parents' neighbor had a new Mustang, Colby, or Shelby, Cobra, whatever it was. He promptly got arrested for driving too fast. And in Canada, Ontario, they have a thing called stunt driving. They apply that if you're driving too fast. Automatic 1-year suspension, impound of car, bye-bye. You pay a lot of money to get it out. And a C250 Benz. Oh, I bet you a lot of rust around those rear quarters. I bet. Oh, I wasn't ready for the show to end yet. Let me start that music. We'll do that one more time. It could have Canada had a T. I know this stupid Canadians. You can go everywhere in the world. We don't think you should come here. You've got a DUI. But I'm not going to drive here. I'm taking Uber and I'm picked up by somebody. Nope. You can apply for with the Canadian border guys to have an exemption for it. Take some time. You got to prove that you're a good citizen again. Yada yada yada. No, I go to Canada all the time. They still ask me questions, even when you have global entry and that kind of stuff. They ask you questions. I don't work there, so it doesn't matter. I'm married to a Canadian, but I don't have a spouse permit yet. But I went there in the early in the 2000s, 2008, 2011 for work when I was building armored vehicles, and it was a classified U.S. government program, but one of the big suppliers was in Quebec. So we had to go there and inspect them, and ended up working there. Not working, but inspecting and overseeing the stuff being made there. And it was there are these giant buses. And they didn't make them in the U.S. They only made them in Canada. These heavy-duty passenger buses. And so the guys are asking, "Why are you here?" And we're like, "We're gonna go to this place there." Yeah, but what are you gonna do there? We're like, "We can't tell you." And they're like, "We're not letting you in the country then." I said, "No, we can't tell you. It's a classified program." And they're like, "Well, you're not allowed to do classified stuff in Canada." We're like, "We're not doing anything. We just can't talk about it." It drove them crazy. It just drove them crazy until they got some kind of supervisor. I said, "We're just visiting this factory. Here's our letter, blah, blah, blah." Don't get me started. No drinking and driving. If you can't go there for having a DUI, what they do to you for getting a DUI there. Oh, it's bad news. It's not good. It's not good. I thought I had this thing on loop. I guess it's bad. In Ontario, it's pretty bad. You get a long time suspension. Thank God for Uber. Thank God that totally changed everything. Not everywhere. Like in Chicago, taxis were ubiquitous. You could go everywhere with a taxi. And I've started taking taxis because a lot of times it's cheaper now than Uber. But for a lot of places outside the city where an Uber might be 10, 15 minutes or a taxi could be 10, 15, 20 minutes away, now there's an Uber, and that's solved. And so many bars were going out of business that weren't in a walking area, that were out in strip malls and things like that. They just couldn't get anyone to go because the cops would just sit outside and hook you right up. Rightly so, I might add. Not defending drinking and driving. I'm just saying, rightly so. But anyway, thank God for Uber. A lot of bartenders were like, I wasn't making any tips at all until they invented Uber. They're going to send me back to Peru. If you ever watch out, Trump gets in. They're going to say, criminal record, off you go. Whoosh. They tar and feather you, then send you home. That's a good point, Mike. I don't know what Manitoba's like for that. I mean, I got to think that everyone in Manitoba drinks and drives. You could just part of the. I mean, you could literally drive for 40 miles and not see another person. You know, once you get away from Winnipeg. I mean, you could drive hammered backwards and be fine. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching on X, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Not as many viewers as last week, up to 65 viewers on X. I actually have two windows open for that. One says 55 and one says 65. I didn't even realize I had two windows open. LinkedIn, not so many people today. The LinkedIn numbers haven't been good lately. LinkedIn people are getting a little crazy. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today. As they say, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting, or have hosted another episode. Thanks to Jesus and Crypto Mike for sticking around to the end. Manitoba is a news you over like a tiny bit over the limit, and they take everything. Yep. Anyway, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. We will see you again tomorrow. So be there. I need a sound effect for that, like.